So hey, hello, welcome back to D4D. So most often allylic, vinylic, amide, etc. terms confuses us, right? So it's high time আমি এইবোৰ term ভালদৰে জানি লওঁ and let's remove the confusion and know one by one about each of them. For example, allylic, then example vinylic. So what is the difference between all these two terms? So you'll get to know about it. Stay tuned to the video, and if you are new to the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe and support us. So let's start learning. So first of all, let me tell you what allylic is. Allylic, as the name suggests. For example, let me take the example of suppose this one. We have carbon 1, carbon 2, and here it is carbon 3. So all these things are related to organic chemistry. Okay. Now that carbon that is adjacent to double bond. For example, here we have double bond at carbon 2 and this one is carbon 3 and this one is carbon 4. So we have double bonds in between carbon 2 and carbon 3, right? So these two positions, carbon 1 and carbon 4, will be allylic. Anyway, clear view. Okay, so suppose I am taking this example, C1 is bonded to C2 and that is double bonded to C3 and that is double bonded to something, say A or B, something like that. So carbon atom adjacent to the double bond is this one, C1 is allylic carbon, right? Allylic carbon. Now if you ask me what this A group is, if this is suppose NH2, so this does not have a carbon atom, right? So we cannot term it as allylic. Now let me give you one more example so that all these things become very clear to you. If I take the example of this species, so I have, oh sorry, let me redraw it, this one, yeah. So if you ask me which one of them is the allylic carbon, and again if you take one more example, suppose something like this. So here this one will be our required allylic carbon. So I hope confusion is clear. Now let me move to the next section. Next one is vinylic. So vinylic is very easy. Name is vinylic. Suppose I draw a species like this one. You tell me which one of them is vinylic. See, yes, you guessed it correct. Both of them can be termed as vinylic because both of them share a double bond. So that means vinylic carbon is that carbon, or simply those carbon which shares the double bond. So here both of these carbons are sharing the double bond. So that is why this carbon and this carbon sharing a double bond, and that is why both of them are vinylic. So moving to the next one, we have amide. Yeah, most often we get confused between amide and amide. We need to note here that I am using the term amide, A-M-I-D-E. So IDE group is attached. So when we term amide, we mean a NH2 group attached to a carbonyl group. Now what is carbonyl group? So this one is the carbonyl group, isn't it? So if this group contains a NH2 group, that means this species will be termed as amide. We have any kind of substituent here, suppose A, that doesn't matter. So this one is amide. I hope that is clear to you. Next I want to show you what an acetyl group is. These all these things are interesting. Now it's time for acetyl. So for acetyl we need to know about this thing, a carbonyl group that is attached to a methyl group. Now this basic thing, one is this carbonyl group and the other is this methyl group. So we can term this as acetyl, right? This is termed simply as acetyl. Now once it is done, we'll move to acyl group. Let us understand what acyl is. Now acyl group is, for understanding acyl, let me just give you a glimpse of a carboxylic acid. For example, we have this one. So if we somehow can remove this OH group from this group, then what will we get? Let's examine. In order to remove that OH group, we have different ways, right? So here what I will do, I'm drawing this here, ignore this. So I will just split it by free radical mechanism. So after doing that, and once this OH radical is removed, what is the remaining moiety that we achieve? So we achieve nothing but this one. So this one is the remaining thing. So this thing is termed as acyl. So I hope the difference between allylic, vinylic, amide, acetyl and acyl is clear to you. Now let me term what phenyl, the difference between phenyl and benzyl is. Now I am considering a benzene ring, and we have hydrogens attached to this ring, right? So if somehow I remove just one hydrogen from this benzene ring, what will be the remaining thing? See, we may have a hydride shift or a proton abstraction by some species. That is, we may either get a cation or an anion, right? So that is simply a phenyl ring or a phenyl species. As described earlier, phenol is nothing but this one, a OH group attached to a benzene ring. And what phenyl is? Phenyl is something that is devoid of hydrogen, one of its hydrogen. Suppose if we remove this, so this is phenyl. Once this hydrogen is removed, that will be phenyl, and this is phenol. So I hope the difference is clear to you. So that's all for today's video. I hope this is helpful for you. Do consider subscribing. Thank you.